Okay, so I've decided to try to vlog the process of making my best friend's wedding gift. So, for context, she gets married in about 11 months. So, today is August 22nd, 2025, and she gets married end of June 2026. So I have about 11 months. I'm hoping I can get this done for her. I'm planning on crocheting her a blanket in her wedding colors, which are shades of purple. I've decided to try to make her a bookshelf blanket. So the bride, she's a really big reader, and so I always liked the idea of maybe making some sort of a bookshelf blanket for her. I've seen you can do like bookshelf quilts. I looked into that a little bit, and I didn't think I would be able to like quite get the level of detail that I want on a bookshelf quilt. Just at my current level of quilting, I've just made I've only made one quilt in my life, and it was just like a patchwork, you know, St. Louis 16 patch quilt, and it took a long time. I really like that quilt, but I don't think I would be able to do a bookshelf quilt for her to the level of justice that I think I would want for her wedding. So I also am a big knitter and crocheter, so I started looking into things kind of in that realm, and I found the mosaic bookcase crochet, it's like mosaic crochet blanket pattern from Zigzag Crochet on Etsy, and so I that kind of looked something like I could do with more ease and do with more justice than perhaps a bookshelf quilt. So I got that pattern, and I started, she included a bunch of designs so you can kind of create your own bookshelf, and she included a lot of different like motifs and designs to like kind of design how you want the shelves to look. And so I started doing that. I started like planning out how I would want the shelves to look, and I kind of came to the realization that I like couldn't get the level of detail that I wanted with the double crochets that are required in mosaic crochet. So basically I've heavily modified the pattern to be single crochet, to be single tapestry crochet. And I'm really hoping that doesn't come back to bite me in the butt. But we'll see. So I played around in Stitch Fiddle to create a pattern for their bookshelf that I think kind of reflects their personality better. So I'm using a lighter color of purple, and then a darker color of purple. So there's like a main color and a contrast color. And I've whited out their name, but this is kind of what I designed in Stitch Fiddle. Basically, they're both musicians, and they're both educators. And so I kind of wanted to include elements of that. They also both have 2 cats, so I included them in their little bookshelf blanket. They met through jazz at their undergraduate university, and things like that. So I wanted to have it more reflective of their interests and the things that they like. So that's kind of the plan I'm going off of right now. The colors I've gotten to use are, I got about 3,000 yards of each to start. I'm hoping that gets me through a big portion of the blanket, and if I need more after that, it's just acrylic from a big box store, so I'm hoping the colors will match and I won't have to worry too much about like dye lots and color matching and things like that. But we'll see. I think I started out with 3,000 yards of each of the purples. So for the darker purple, I'm using Lion Brand Pound of Love in acrylic in the color Thistle. So that's that color. And then for the lighter color, this one is the one I don't know so much about. It looked a little lighter online, so I'm a little worried that these look too similar and that they're gonna look too similar in the blanket. But only time will tell. My plan is to knit, or not knit, crochet the first shelf of the bookshelf and then reassess and see how I feel and if I want to continue with this colorway or if I want to try to get a lighter purple. But right now the plan is to have the lighter color be this Caron 1 pound acrylic in the color Light Violet. I wish it was even lighter violet, but you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna give these two a try, and we're gonna reassess kind of as we go, and go from there. I started crocheting in the first 5 rows to measure and see kind of as a gauge swatch how big it was maybe going to be, and I did some math and it looks like it'll be like 42 inches wide, and if it's all single crochet it'll be 63-ish inches long, which is sort of a throw blanket size, more like decorative, more like going on the back of an armchair or like a lap blanket, and less of a like blanket that goes on your bed. So we can kind of reassess. I'm kind of wondering if that's only about 20 inches of difference between the length and the width. An easy way I could get the length to be longer is if I turn some of these big long, like the bottom dark purple or the top dark purple, or even like these shelves in between, turn those into double crochets instead of single crochets, and that would be an easy way to kind of like lengthen it. But I don't know if I want to do that. But the problem is I kind of need to decide if I'm going to do that right at the beginning, because I would want at least the bottom and the top dark purple shelves to have the double crochets, which would be the beginning and the end. So we'll see. This is going to be kind of a busy year for me. So I'm in my 3rd year of physical therapy school. So I have, you know, classes, and then I'll have 2 clinicals coming up, and then I'll have board prep in the spring, and then I'll be studying for my boards, and then I'll take my boards, and I'll be like sort of searching for a job at the same time, probably moving out of the town where I am. So we'll see if we have enough time to get this done. I'm really hoping I do, but I'm hoping I can vlog here and there about my progress as I go. What I've done so far is just, you know, the width, and I've done 5-ish rows just to sort of get the measurement, hopefully for the what is that? The length, the height, whatever. And I think I'll go ahead and work on it a little bit more, and then I'll decide if I need to go back and frog it back to try and do double crochets instead, and then I'll see how much length that would maybe add. But I'm gonna be kind of busy in the next couple weeks, so we'll see how much gets done. Okay, so it's been about a week since my last update. I've done 27 rows of this blanket, kind of intermittently in the evenings when I have time. I've decided that the length and the width are actually fine. I got out my measuring tape and I kind of measured them against my mattress on my bed and was like, okay, having it be whatever I said, like around 42 by 63 inches is gonna be just fine. So I've decided I'm not gonna do any like double crochets. The single crochets are exhausting. I hope I called it the correct thing. I think it's tapestry crochet. I should probably look that up before my next update. But I can show you what I've done. This is what 27 rows in. It's a little bit crinkly. Hold on. This is 27 rows. We got some books, and I have new worries now. So the plan was to spell out their last name, and some other words on this bottom shelf here. I'm getting concerned that it's not going to be very legible. I mean, if you like kind of squint, if you squint really hard and you kind of know what it's supposed to be, you can kind of make it out. But I'm concerned that like if you like didn't know it was there, you wouldn't be able to read it. So I think I'm gonna keep going, see how illegible it really is when I get done, and then I may have to do some, like, I've seen people do, they take some yarn and a tapestry needle and basically do a little bit of like corrective stitching, or not corrective, but like embroidery on top to kind of like fix up the way that some of those like color transitions look and just make them a little more clear. And I think if I still am a little unhappy with it, I think I'll have to do that rather than, because my other thought was, well, oh, I could frog it back and pick like an even lighter shade of purple, but that would involve buying more yarn. I don't think I really want to do that. And to be honest, I kind of, you know how at the beginning I said I was a little concerned that the colors would look too similar. I think in most of the design, I think it comes across pretty clearly, like where the books are and where they aren't, and where the negative space is. It's just, I think the only troublesome part is going to be maybe the words. So I'm gonna keep trucking on, and yeah, I got a long 3-day Labor Day weekend, so we'll see how much I can get done. Hopefully some, but I also have, I also want to do other things with my time, so we'll see. All right, so it's been a while since I updated. It is now fully fall, and I have an update. Okay, the update is that I finished the first shelf of the blanket. Oh, look at it. Oh, I'm really pleased with it. I think it's turning out good. I measured it, and this first shelf is a little over 14 inches. And so there's like a total of about 5 shelves on the design for the bookshelf blanket. And so from my preliminary math skills, the math is mathing. So I think it's gonna be about how long I said it was gonna be in the beginning. I forget what I said. It was like 60 something inches, hopefully by the end. But yeah, so the math is mathing, and I'm pleased with how it's looking. I still plan to do like overstitching on the end, or like at the end, just to like sort of make it more clear what the words are, because I just think that'll look better and more clean. But overall, pretty proud, pretty impressed. The next steps are to just keep chugging along, just keep going. Yeah, in the time that I last updated, I finished my last didactic semester of school. I'm about to start a clinical, so I'll be busy with that, but also I'm hoping to have more time in the evenings to sort of work on this here and there, because these past 8 weeks I've been pretty much busy with school and things in the evening, so I was not really working on this so much. I also knitted a project in between there, so yeah, but hoping to have a little more time, but I also need to be reviewing for my boards, so gonna attempt to try and do both in the evenings, sort of, for the next, whatever, 9 weeks until Christmas. And a goal for myself that I've set is to have the second shelf done by Christmas, hopefully. So I don't have the design right in front of me, but the second shelf is going to be a little funky because it's like almost a half shelf. It's like the start of the saxophone in the design. So that'll be interesting. It'll be a lot more paying attention to the pattern, a lot more like looking closely to see how many stitches in each color and things like that, because it's kind of a funky shape. Like a lot of the shapes on this first shelf were just like books, which are just like rectangles, and so like as soon as you do the first row, you're like, okay, and then you just follow, as you go up more rows. But the saxophone, I'm gonna have to be a lot more vigilant and paying attention to what row I'm on and how many stitches and things like that. So excited to see how that goes, and hopefully it goes okay and it doesn't look like poop. So I guess we'll see. And yeah, so next steps are to keep going, just keep crocheting away. I don't know how often the updates are gonna come, because overall I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. I think the colors are good. I think the design's turning out okay. There may be a little thing or two about the design in the second shelf I may want to change in the near future, but that's okay. But yeah, so the updates may come only when I'm done with each shelf coming forward. I don't know, unless I have more thoughts to share. I don't know. I need to start thinking about if I want to line the back or anything like that. Right now I'm thinking no. I think it would just be a lot. So yeah, that's what's going on, and I'll update as I can and as I remember to. But that's the update for today. I thought of something else. So I started off with like 3 of the 1 pound things of yarn in each color, the darker purple and the lighter purple, to start off with, and I think that is going well. So this first shelf I only used, I used 5 ounces of the lighter purple and 5 ounces of the darker purple, because it's a pound, so it's 16 ounces to start. So I think I hopefully will have enough yarn, and in fact it may actually be too much yarn that I ordered, but we'll see. And if it is, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I'd rather have too much yarn than too little. So I think that's kind of a good problem to have. And yeah. Okay, hello. I have finished the second shelf ahead of schedule, which is what I was hoping for. It is now this big. I'll try and insert some B-roll of it, but I'm proud of this beginning of the saxophone here. And here's one of their kitties playing with a flower. So it's looking good. It's about almost 25 inches long now. And I like the way that it's coming along. So next up is, my next goal is to try to get to halfway through the blanket, which would be 137 rows. I'm currently at 110 rows. And I want to get that done by January 5th, which is when I start my last clinical. And so I'm finishing up my third clinical right now. I have a big presentation to give, and I still go to work every day. So I think I can commit to the amount of rows that it will take to get to halfway by January 5th. And you know, I'm going home at the holidays, so who knows how much time I'll have free then. But yeah, so that's the next goal, and I'm pretty pleased with how it's looking. So okay, so hi, it's been a while, like a month, and I am home now. I've had a couple weeks off from school at the holidays, and that has been really nice. I've just been, you know, spending time at home with family and doing things here. And what's nice about that is I've gotten a lot of time to just like sit and work on my crafts. So I've had a couple days where I've just like sat at home and crocheted. I went up to some relatives that are out of town, and then did some more work on the blanket. But the blanket is now so large that it's like kind of overbearing to bring on road trips and stuff. So I was like, I needed to find something else to make to bring on this road trip. And so I, you know, ended up knitting a mitten. What? So I knitted a mitten, and I also did some sewing, because I got some sewing notions for Christmas and stuff. So I've had a good time just making away, making tons of stuff. So that's been good, and that's been nice and fulfilling for me. But I've gotten a lot of work done on the blanket as well. But all of this, like, making other things has just made me anxious. Well, not anxious, but like antsy to kind of get this blanket done. I just don't want to be like having to work on it anymore, because I'm so excited to make like other things. I've got other things on my like list that I want to make. So long story short, I've gotten a lot of progress, I think, on this. I forget what I said exactly last time, but I think my goal was to like finish halfway, and I had just gotten done with the second shelf. I'm way beyond that. I am finished. Yeah, I made it through halfway. I finished the third shelf, and now I'm halfway through the fourth shelf. So finished. Now the fourth shelf is the trombone shelf. So there's a little trombone at the beginning of it, at least. And then I finished up the third shelf, the top of the saxophone. It's like really big now. I'll measure it and see and put an exact number, but it's getting pretty long. It's like, you know, we're over halfway, so it's like almost, it's more than half of a blanket. So it's big enough that when it's draped over me now, it's like keeping me warm. It's like pretty thick too. So I think it's going well. I really like the way it's turning out. The design is still more noticeable in like more direct light, just because the purples are kind of similar, but I'm still planning to do that over stitching at the end there to try and get the words at least looking a little more clear. So yeah, other updates would be I did finish one big ball of the lighter purple yarn, and I've attached another ball, so I'm working on the second big ball. And the contrast color, the darker purple, was getting a little bit like yarn vomity, so I caked it up there at the end. So we're getting towards the end of this ball, but it's still probably got, I don't know, at least the rest of this shelf left. So long story short, I did in fact buy way too much yarn. So I will probably have at least, you know, 1 whole pound of the lighter yarn and 1 whole pound of the darker yarn left unused at the end. So gonna have to brainstorm some things to do with that. I've got a ton of other acrylic that I need to use up as well. So I don't know, I'll just do some brainstorming, I guess. But that's the update. The update is that it's going well. And I'm excited to get it done so I don't have to be worrying about it anymore. I've been kind of making a conscious effort to get so far ahead on this blanket because I know that once this clinical starts, where I'll be going, you know, every day to work and, you know, trying to also study for boards at the same time, that is going to be just like a lot on my plate, and I don't know how much time I will be able to devote to this. So I've kind of intentionally been trying to get kind of far ahead on this blanket, so gonna try to kind of keep that up. But the good part is I only have like a shelf and a half left, so if worse comes to worse, I can kind of get that done pretty quickly now as it gets closer to the wedding, just because I've discovered now, if I, you know, devote a couple days to just like kind of sitting and crocheting, then I can get a lot done. So that is the update, and I'll let you know when there's another update. Hey vlog. Long time no speak. I realized that I just got really busy with all of this stuff going on. A lot of things have happened since I've last videoed. I studied for my boards and I took my boards exam. I passed my boards, and now I'm officially a licensed physical therapist. So lots of exciting things have happened in the past, you know, few months since I last spoke. But the biggest one that relates to this video is that I finished crocheting the blanket. So did a lot of crocheting in the background, behind the scenes, here and there, and it got done. So really proud of myself for doing this. I you know, going into this, I saw a lot of like TikToks and stuff about like how like silly or how foolish people are when they first start out crocheting, that they try to make a whole single crochet blanket. And I've done that, and it just, you know, it did take a while, but it, you know, I mean, I love the process, and I love anything relating to fiber arts. So overall, just really proud of myself for designing the whole thing, and you know, creating this design that really is inspired by my friends, and then, you know, making it and having it come to life. So really, really pleased with it. The final dimensions came out to be 58 inches long and 39 inches wide. So not really not really like covering a bed or anything, but it's a good size for like a throw or a wall hanging or something like that. I'll kind of leave that up to them to decide what to do with it. Yeah, I wanted to chat a little bit about how much yarn I ended up using. I, all in all, used way less than I thought I would need. I look back on it now, I ordered so much. So like this whole box is just full of purple that I didn't use. So I have my Ravelry pulled up here. I got out my scale the other day and I like did some weighing to figure out how much I actually used. So I ended up using, what is this? So the lighter purple, I used 1.56 skeins, which came out to 1,263 yards or 705 grams. And then the darker purple, which is the Lion Brand Pound of Love, that came out to, I used 1.26 skeins, which is 1,285 yards or 572 grams. So lots and lots of leftover yarn. I have whatever's left of the lighter purple I was using, plus 2 more left. And then I have whatever's left of this Pound of Love that I was using, plus another whole one. So lots and lots of purple left. Need to figure out what I'm going to do with that. But, you know, I think I was really just, you know, not overeager, but like I was getting anxious, I think, about needing to buy more and not having enough. And so that, I think, is why I ended up with so much. But this is a lesson for future me to really not be so gung-ho with the yarn buying for these big blanket projects. So yeah, so next steps would be, I want to give this a good steam block. I decided not to do the overstitching over the parts where there's like letters and numbers and things like that, just because I consulted with a few people and asked, like, are you able to read this? And they were able to, so I think it's not the biggest deal. And I also don't want to create even more like possibility of like ends sticking out or like little yarn ends popping out, because they have cats and stuff, and I didn't want to have extra bulk anywhere. Or my worry is that if I did some overstitching, that would create like a right side and a wrong side to the blanket. So like there would be one side with more knots and stuff, and then the other side. Already there's a like kind of a right and wrong side, because there's a side you can read the words from and a side that you can't. But I don't know, I just didn't want to mess with all of that, so I've decided to not worry so much about that and not do that. So that's the story there. But I do want to give it a good steam block. I've never really done steam blocking with crochet. I need to do a little bit of research, so I think I'm gonna do some YouTube research to figure out the best way to do that for acrylic, because this is 100% acrylic. So that's the next step. And then after that, the wedding is next Saturday. So I need to figure out a good way to package it and like make it look pretty as a gift to give. So I need to like figure out like a cute box to put it in. It needs to be rather large because it's kind of folded up. It's kind of thick. or like a cute bag or something. Either way, I need to figure out a way to get it to them. And then, yeah, I need to figure out when I kind of want to give it to them. So I don't know if I actually want to give it to them day of the wedding, or like I'm in the bridal party, so there's a lot of events in the week leading up to the wedding. I don't know if I want to give it to them during one of those, but hopefully I will keep you posted with all of that, and I'll let you know how the steam blocking goes. But that is the update for right now. It's done, so yay. And that's where we are. Okay, so I'm back from steam blocking. I actually did that a couple days ago. And I've been on a hunt since then for something cute to put it in, to gift it to them. And I ended up finding this basket at Target, and I folded it up in such a way that it fits perfectly inside. So I'm gonna get some cute tissue paper, and I got some ribbon. I had a patient a few months ago that showed me, she was like really into making bows, and she showed me how to make a bow, and so I'm gonna try and see if I remember, and if I don't, then I'll have to consult YouTube. But I think it kind of goes with the purple theme. And yeah, that's kind of the update. I'll insert a picture of that I took right after it was steam blocked. I'm not sure that it did anything really. I mean, it makes, I don't know. Either way, it's good. There's still a little bit of like waves and wobbles, I think. Or maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. But at this point, we're kind of getting down to the wire, and I'd rather just like have it be done. And yeah, but you know, still happy with it. And I'll let you know what it finally looks like when I get it all wrapped up and all pretty and stuff. So I don't have many extra updates to add, other than here's a picture of with it on the table of gifts at the wedding. I ended up making the bow, and there's a picture of it in the basket, looking all nice and pretty. And then I was actually there when they opened it. They had a brunch the next day where they opened all their gifts. And so I just want to say a big congratulations to them. And that's it.